Hi everybody, my name is Andrei and I'm obsessed with drum machines. This is my favorite. However, I like them all, and the reason for that, I certainly believe that they can create the unique sound that many others cannot do. So today we'll talk about this strange family of Korg drum machines of the mid-80s, Korg DDD-1 that you saw in the intro, DDD-5 that I have on the desk, and DRM, which is the 19-inch rack module, no sequencer, but pretty much the same schematics and the sound generators. And I like them. They're 8-bit, they're crunchy sounding, they also, well, it's sort of like a harsh sound. And so today I believe that can be used as advantage rather than trying to use it to emulate the acoustic drums. We will use it for something else and more creative. So when these were released, certainly the DD-1 was positioned to the semi-pro market, since it has more buttons, it's bigger, it has expandability, it has more slots for the cards, it has the slot for the sampling module that allows you to sample in the sound and leave it in its own, SRAM, that is battery backup. The DD-5 that I have here, it doesn't have all of these capabilities. It has only 2 slots for the cards, but it sounds very similar. While the internal factory sounds a little bit different between these two, this one actually has more sounds than DD-1. So when the Korg originally positioned it to the markets, they assumed that users want to expand the sounds because the factory sounds, as I said, limited. So it was done through these cards. And in the DD-1 it goes to the front, in DD-5 it goes on the back, 2 slots, as I said. The interesting part that all of these cards, they have pretty much the same size of a memory inside it. So it's a 8-bit sounds with roughly about 1.5 second total time. And then this total time is shared across the sounds that you have in a card. And each card could have up to 8 sounds. And for instance, on this particular one, it's called Snare Drum 2. Actually, this is a very good card. You only have 4 sounds because they are longer. So longer the sound, less you can put them. That's, I believe, is obvious, of course. Over the years, good cards became rarity. People were not willing to trade them or sell them. So you ended up with lots of cards in the market. Some of them cost a lot, some of them less, and some of them more usable, some of them less usable. However, the whole value of the DD-5 was really undervalued because lots of these sounds also dated. Now to the story. When we put together the Luma 1 and then created the Luma Mu, which is a single ear rack channel, we were thinking about how users can easily expand their sounds and load their sounds, so without creating custom EEPROMs and burning it, which is a lot of fun, by the way. I like this doing myself. We came with a project that is open source. It's called PicoROM, so that's here. And this is basically a Raspberry Pi Pico-based EEPROM emulator. You connect it to the computer, you program it once, so then you put it to your drum machine, or in that case to the Luma Mu, and it can play multiple sounds. I was thinking about doing the same for other drum machines, and I thought, well, sure, let's do that, and let's make it a project where you could buy the full assembled card, or it could be approachable and inexpensive for DIY community as well. So I came with this design. This is basically the card that goes to the, again, to the DD-1 front or DD-5 on the back. That goes like here, and it stays there. And inside this enclosed part, you have exactly the same Raspberry Pico. So that made it really approachable for people to replicate it, and also to, I would say, to offer this at much less cost. So that was the main motivation for doing that. the way you program it, you put the sounds through the computer. I will show you examples how I do that. And again, well, take it as the first steps. Everything is developing, everything will be better over the time. But you put the sounds through the USB, so there's a USB-C port here, but also there are 3 switches, they're called dip switches. And so you can, well, toggle these switches. And basically the combination of that switches represents up to 8 cards that could simultaneously be stored on the PicoROM. And that's a great advantage. Not only you can program it in real time or with the restart of the drum machine, you can get to the different bank. So why I'm saying with the restart, I should clarify that as well. When you put all the sounds, like let's say in every of 8 banks, you put 8 sounds. No matter what these sounds are, they will reside at the same locations. So it's the total capacity, as I said, 1.5 seconds, and so it's divided equally by 8 parts, and in every part you have the one of these sounds. And so what you saw in the intro, I had the banks that had 8 sounds in these banks, and by changing the dip switch in real time, I could switch between banks. Well, there's the caveat. Well, first of all, if you have less than 8 sounds, your split will be different. So your sounds will reside in different locations. And in switching in real time, obviously the machine will be still thinking that it has the card that it has been initialized with. So let's say if it was initialized with the, or turn it on with 8 sound card, so then when you switch the bank, it will be still thinking that it's 8 sounds. And of course it can create unpredictable glitchy effects. Point is that, well, when you change between the different number of sounds in card, you better to restart it. Another reason to restart it, because at the time of the turning on, it scans the card and it also shows the names of the sounds. And that's what I also made possible. So when you import the sounds, you can preserve the names, which is good to know, because when you operate with so many different banks, sometimes it can be hard to really remember or memorize what sounds are you using. So let me now turn it on, put this inside, and show you how you can operate it through this software. Okay, so let me recap what I did. Well, of course, I put the card into the DD5. I used the second slot, and this is very beaten up DD5. It has the first slot is non-functional. It doesn't work with original cards. It doesn't work with a later card. So I'm using the second slot purposely because it's the only slot that works. Also, it's a bit noisy, but I think it's fine. By the way, they all have different noise levels, and this noise level also depends on how many cards you have installed. So the advantage of this card, because it only takes 1 slot, technically the noise level is less than you have DD5 populated with DD1, I'm sorry, populated with all the 5 slots, or DD5 populated with 2 cards. I take that as an advantage. Also, I turn it on. I also have the USB-C cable connected, and at this point, the PicoROM inside this already been detected by computer, and you can have both of them powered at the same time. So you can have USB-C connected to computer, you can have the drum machine on, and it's totally fine. You can also have it off, and still the PicoROM is fully detected by the computer. I'm saying computer because today, the scripts for creating the custom drum sounds, they are fully automated. There's no GUI, but they made on the open source scripts and open source tools, and well, they create the image that they can also on their own program it to the PicoROM, which is great part. They note that it's for Windows only, and at some point I will create the macOS version. Currently, I'm running the Windows inside parallels under macOS. There are different ways of running Windows, honestly, free or commercial ways. And it's just the way it works totally fine, even through this virtualization. Just a note. Okay, So now let me show you how that works inside this and how you create and manage your own sounds, and then we will play with these sounds. Okay, so now we move to my computer screen, and what you see here is the directory of the scripts that the emulator cartridge comes with. Basically, all you need to do for these, in order to run, you only need to reference to one file called Deftaudio main and run this file. Don't need to run any other files, and really that is simplified as much as this could be through the scripts. But before running the file, we need to make sure that we put all our wave data into the proper locations of these. So that goes to the wave in, and inside this you will see 8 banks of the sounds, and inside every bank you will see files. These are just a standard wave files. You don't really need to prepare these files in any special way. They can be any sample rate, they can be mono or stereo. They will be converted and trimmed based on the every bank configuration. And you see that this bank, for instance, it has 8 sounds in it. So the whole capacity of a bank, 1.5 seconds, will be split across all of these sounds equally. And so every sound will get its own like few hundred millisecond only. But that's enough for something like a hit sound, and so totally okay. For some other preference you may have, if it's a longer sound, you can just put one sound in it. And that's example of the subkick that has very long tail in my case that I put here, and of course I just dedicated the whole bank for this subkick, and it made it only one file for the bank. If it's the scripts itself, they detect how many files you put into every bank location, and depending on this it will apply own trimming, and so it will consider that. So make sure that you put the right amount of files into every location. So that has to be between 1 to 8, otherwise you will see the warning or you may see the error and the script will stop executing. Of course it will tell you the reason for that, but you just need to know. Also, when you look inside the directory, you see that files have names and it's sorted by name currently. And another greatest advantage, that script is able to convert file names into the sound names that you'll see on a screen on a DDD-5 or DDD-1 or DRM. So keep in mind that this default sorting order will be exactly how that translates to the card. So in that case means that the E2 kick will be the first sound when you scroll to the sounds on the card. If you want to change the order, you have to modify the name in a way that it comes first or it comes after. And easiest way for that, for instance, you can add the single digit before that, and this is how it will sort. But in the result, of course, you will see also the digit on the screen. I think this is it for the preparation. Really, once you put the sounds, everything else is straightforward. You click the Deftaudio main, and first what it's doing, it detects how many files you have in each directory. And you see I have 7 directories with 8 sounds inside it, and I have the last directory that you've seen earlier with only 1 sound inside it. Now it's waiting you for the input. You can press any button to continue, or you can close the window at this point if you realized, okay, I forgot to put some sound into this, or I need to do some changes. That's your last time, and you can do that. So I press the space bar. As I said, any key would work. And what it's currently doing, it's doing the trimming and sample rate conversion of every of the files so that it finds there. It doesn't take long. It's a relatively quick process. What you need to remember that, well, as I said, the original sample rate will set you to the, it will be resampled, no matter what you put there. But original sample rate defines your original pitch. So think about these. And this drum machine, all of them, they run at roughly about 22 kilohertz. So that's the sample rate that they take as the base sample rate when playing the files. when I'm resampling through the scripts, I'm not staying at 22. Instead, actually, I'm resampling that at 44. The reason for that, there's the pros and cons of doing that, and you can modify that. That's easy to do. The reason I'm doing that, because when you resample at 22, this comes as the nominal playback speed when you are at the lowest, how to explain it, at the lowest pitch position. So the pitch of the DD5 and DD1 can be from the 0 to 127. If I would resample it at 22 kilohertz, I can put more data, and it will be the original pitch will be at the 0 position. So I'm not being able to play it at the lower speed. I can play it at the higher speed. I can really go very much high. However, I'm not able to play it in a lower speed, and that's the disadvantage. So all the character comes from the anti-aliasing and all of this noise of the 8-bit sounds. You will be missing this. And that's the reason why I'm resampling at 44 kilohertz. And in that case, your original playback speed will be roughly at the 64. So it will be roughly in the middle. And you have a lot of headroom to go into the lower playback speed. And so you get a lot of this character. So I had to explain it. Now, when we look again on the screen, you see that the script finished everything. It said success, and it's finished all the banks. At this point, it generated your primary file that you can use for programming. It's called PicoROM.bin, and it resides in the same directory. There the script files are. So this is our target file that we can then upload onto the PicoROM. We have options. We can upload it ourselves, or we can let script to do that. And so for this purpose, all you need to do is connect USB-C cable to your computer. If it's Windows, you just connect it. No drivers needed. It just detects it on its own. And if I press yes, now the programming utility will kick in, and it will detect the PicoROM and will do everything automatically. In my case, because I'm running that on macOS inside the Parallels, which is a virtualization, I also need to do the extra step. I need to select the USB device that is available for Windows. So because I did that already, the experience that you see on the screen, it's exactly the same as it would be a native Windows. So now I press yes. And you see the PicoROM tool detected PicoROM, it's uploaded the image, and it stored it in flash memory. So that means that basically at this point, the data resides in the non-volatile memory inside the emulator cartridge. And I can disconnect it from a computer, or I can restart, and the data will be there. Now let's take a look. On this, I already started the drum machine, so I don't need to do anything because I started it when the cartridge was already programmed with 8 sounds. Now I can go to any bank with 8 sounds and can select the sounds. So I go to the instrument assign, and I can so these are the sounds that I programmed. And so, for instance, if I want to change the pitch of this sound, I go to the pitch, it's here. So that's the lowest, and so it plays slower than the original playback speed of the original file. And if I set it to the middle, that would be where the original file was. And of course I can go up. So with that, now without restarting machine, you see, I can change a different bank because they all with bank by 8 sounds. I'll get to a different sound from another bank. So that was a quick example what you can do with this. Of course, the file names will not change until you restart it, and that's the only caveat. But other than that, it's so easy to use and in real time move the data back and forth and program your own sound. So it's just a pleasure of using these drum machines. Then you have that ability to reprogram it so quickly and integrate it into your workflow. So with that, I think that's the end. That was a long video, longer than I planned, but I showed everything. I showed the cartridge itself, I showed how it can operate, what you need to do with the tools. I showed you both of the amazing drum machines, DD-5 and DD-1, which I like a lot. And so I hope you will enjoy it. And this project really made for the community. It's a community effort. It's available as a kit for DIY enthusiasts. You can build it yourself, or you can get a fully assembled module as you prefer. And I'm happy to support you. With that, thank you and see you next time. Goodbye.